The THRYNN were a quiet race, small and fragile compared to the titanic species that dominated the Galactic Confederacy. Their bodies were thin, their voices soft, their weapons non-existent. Long ago, they had been cast aside, mocked for their weakness and dismissed as irrelevant. The galaxy had no use for dreamers, and the THRYNN were dreamers above all. For centuries, they drifted in the shadows of forgotten colonies, clinging to survival. When war erupted between the great powers, no one spared them a thought. No one until the humans arrived. Humanity was new to the stars, unpolished and unrefined, but their reputation spread quickly. They were bold, reckless, unpredictable. They laughed in the face of danger, picked fights with enemies far stronger, and somehow survived. Other species called them mad. The THRYNN, however, saw something else: defiance. It began when the Kravel Syndicate descended upon Illustra, the last inhabited THRYNN world. The Kravel were pirates in all but name, towering, armored brutes who thrived on subjugation. With no fleet, no weapons, and no allies, the THRYNN prepared for quiet surrender. They had learned long ago that begging for mercy was the only way to survive. But as the Kravel fleet moved into orbit, they found something unexpected waiting in their path: human ships. The fleet was laughably small, barely a dozen frigates led by the corvette Resolute. Against the Kravel's armada, it was less than nothing. Yet the human commander, Captain Elena Varga, opened a wide-channel broadcast across the system. "This world is under human protection," she declared, voice cold and sharp. "If you want it, you'll have to come through us." The THRYNN watched in stunned silence from their cities below. No one had ever spoken for them before. No one had ever stood for them. The Kravel laughed. "You dare challenge us for these wretches?" Their warlord sneered. "They are nothing. They have no allies, no power, no value." Varga didn't blink. "Doesn't matter. They asked for help. That's enough." Then, with a single command, the humans charged. The battle was chaos. Human frigates darted like knives through the lumbering Kravel destroyers, weaving impossible maneuvers that defied every rule of engagement. They struck at weak points, sabotaged engines, boarded ships with terrifying ferocity. Outnumbered 10-1, they should have been obliterated. Instead, they made the Kravel bleed. The THRYNN gathered in their plazas, watching the skies flare with fire. For the first time in generations, they felt something they had forgotten: hope. Hours turned into a day. The human fleet was battered, scorched, and broken, but still they fought. Every time a ship fell, another filled the gap. Every time the Kravel tried to push forward, humans met them head-on. At last, when the Kravel flagship limped under a rain of human torpedoes, the warlord gave a bellow of fury and ordered retreat. They had come to crush the forgotten race, but instead they had been humiliated by a handful of Deathworlders insane enough to stand against them. The THRYNN's skies cleared. For the first time in centuries, they were free. After the battle, Captain Varga walked among the fragile THRYNN leaders. Her uniform was torn, her face streaked with soot, but her eyes burned with the same fire that had carried her through the storm. "You are not alone anymore," she told them simply. The THRYNN leader, Elder Selen, lowered his gaze. "Why? Why would you risk so much for us? We have nothing to offer." Varga shrugged. "Maybe you don't, but no one deserves to stand alone. And humans, we don't walk away from friends, even if we've only just met them." Word of the stand spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The forgotten race was forgotten no longer, for now they had an ally more terrifying than any fleet: humanity. The THRYNN began to rebuild, not under domination, but under protection. And everywhere whispers followed: "The THRYNN have humans. Strike them, and you'll answer to Earth." For the first time in history, the galaxy looked at the fragile dreamers with respect. Not because of their strength, but because humanity had chosen to fight for them. And deep in their hearts, the THRYNN promised themselves they would never forget who stood for them when no one else would.